Oh, can you hear me now? That should be the sound. Yes, there we go. Sound is on. Hi, Earth Angel. Hi, Betsy. So today I have the pleasure of having Archangel Metatron with me. Some call him uh, other names, but I call him Archangel Metatron. Sometimes I call him Master Metatron, but Archangel's always resonated strong with me, and he wanted to talk a bit about what makes your mind go, what makes it functional, what makes it active. And this is very important to understand because there's only two ways your mind can be activated. It can be activated from the world around you, and it can be activated by the world within you. And again, there was no world within you when you were first in that body. When you first came into that body, there was no world within you. You were just infinite consciousness embracing all space time as your being. And when you came into this finite form, what made your mind, as you understand it to be, is this world. The world made your mind up. Even the name that you call John or Mary or Bob is made up by this world. It is not who you are. And getting back to who you are can sometimes prove to be difficult unless you understand the distinction between your awareness and the ideas, memories, and thoughts that are stored within your physical mechanism. Yeah. He stresses that when we were all born, there was no mind. There was awareness. We were pure awareness the moment we came into this physical body. We were just pure awareness. They have done neurological tests on little babies, and they've shown that the brainwave activity in babies is similar to delta, which is a very low vibration, almost no activity. But just because there's no activity doesn't mean there's awareness. Because one can actually go into a meditative state and alter their brainwave activity through a meditative state, which says that there's an awareness that has the capacity to change the way in which the brain and body work. And that awareness is you and me, and it's all of us. We are an awareness, and we're caught in this made-up world that's been imposed in the structures of our physical matter in the form of ideas and information, physical experiences. So what makes your mind go? Anything that can send your mind into activity. And when we say mind, we mean the acquired collective information stored in your physical mechanism. That's both information that you hold in your mind itself, but also information that you've acquired from previous experiences, from your grandparents, great-grandparents, your parents. You inherit thought, you inherit emotion, you inherit action from them also. As a result, you're not aware of those things because they're stored in your DNA at the time the body is constructed. They're stored as dormant programs in your DNA. So that when information begins to pour in through your five physical senses when you are a little one, when information begins to pour in through there, as that happens, one of the things that begins to unfold is the DNA packets begin to get triggered. The DNA packets of certain conditions and predispositions that are inherently stored in that DNA packet, which can be changed by your awareness. As an awareness, you can change all things. As an identification of body-mind, you cannot change very much at all. But from the perspective of awareness, aware of thought, from the perspective of awareness, aware of emotion, of energy, of body, and how to utilize them effectively, as that awareness, you can make significant changes in the expression of your being in this physical dimension. So he says the arcway. He says the arcway from going from being pure awareness at birth to becoming a personality usually takes about 7 years. The arc from going from being just pure awareness of being connected to all that is without being able to distinguish yourself from all that is. He's saying, ironically enough, that's the reason you came into the body, is so that you could distinguish your awareness from all that is in order to learn how to direct it, in order to effectively and creatively direct energy with your awareness rather than being subjective, which is what you came in being. You came in being subjective awareness, but you were pure and connected to all. And what happened as your parents and information came into our five physical senses, what began to happen is our awareness got collapsed, squished down to being focused or localized into the thoughts, information, ideas that people were giving to us. That understanding that process is very important, for once you can begin to redistinguish your awareness as separate from thought and separate from emotion and separate from body. Not he's saying not separate in the word that you are not connected to it, but separate from them in terms that they have a role in your expression and extension of your awareness, but you are not meant to be subjective to them. So he's saying, please be clear, the separation is in reference specifically to your awareness being aware of these things called thought, emotion, and body, or what you also call matter, which extends to all physical matter at all points of time and space. It is that perspective of awareness once reestablished, then your knowledge and understanding of all that you are begins to come into play. For once your awareness is detached from your localized identity of this form and these thoughts and these memories and these ideas and information stored within it, once you begin to become separated from that, liberated from that, your awareness begins to expand outward back to its original state, which is why so many practice meditation or mindfulness. These are things that are designed specifically to help differentiate your awareness from this physical body and physical mind. But for the most part, most of you are still in the very early stages of differentiating yourself from the contents of your mind, of getting non-localized in your identity and in your self-awareness. Self-aware does not mean that you are just aware of your body or your mind. Self-aware means you are aware of yourself as this great endless potential of consciousness that can alter and change and does alter and change all form, all time, all space. Okay. So learning to understand, because he wants you to understand that there's a process. Outside world can trigger stuff, and it's connected to stuff that's already inside of us. So what my parents taught me, what my grandparents taught them, what I learned from my grandparents, what my great-grandparents taught my grandparents, and so on. There are some scientists that say we can have up as much as 14 generations of acquired knowledge and experience stored within the physical body. Now, he's saying I can use the word getting disentangled. Getting disentangled from that is your primary purpose, to get disentangled from that, to know what your being is for. Getting disentangled is your primary purpose, so you can know what your being is for. That means, what are you being? What is your being? What are you as this I am? And what are you going to do while you have that form? So your mind is made to be active by this world. Your mind is designed to keep you entrapped in this world. It's deliberate that way. It keeps you trapped in the body. It keeps you trapped in the mind. But you are not your body. You are not your mind. But you are the awareness that can work with, alter, transform, transmute, and change thought, body, and emotion with the clarity of an understanding of that process. And it's through the clarity of the understanding of that process that you begin to liberate yourself from subjectivity to this world. He's saying every single archangel, every master, every divine being, and yes, he says there are many more divine beings than one can imagine, certainly more than there are humans, but you are seen as no less valuable as they. You are seen as no less valuable as they. So very important to understand this. What makes your mind go? And it's so important, getting yourself disentangled from this world. Yes, Master Jesus speaks this also. He was given a choice to choose. He was given. They use the term Satan. I don't believe that was the case. I think what he recognized is that he was given a choice by his body and mind. The body loves to feel pleasure, and it likes to avoid pain. And in that sense, this restricts your perception to your awareness to this matter. So when your 5 physical senses are constantly being overloaded, you're stuck in matter. And he was given the choice. He came to the awareness. He had a choice to gain the whole world, which means he could use his knowledge and his wisdom to create great power and control over the world, or he could, and he would therefore lose his individual awareness and connectivity to the one, which is all that is. And he made a choice. He said, and then he made the statement, I think it's written in a couple of books, where he says, what does it profit a person to gain the whole world but lose their own soul? And what he meant by that is he made the choice to not leave his awareness collapsed and stuck in physical matter as just being a physical body. He made the choice to surrender his attachment to the 5 physical senses, to open up his awareness to his higher creative potential. And it was after that point Once he recognized he was not the body, he was not the mind, and he was not bound by the confines of the five physical senses, when that was recognized, that was the moment Master Jesus then began his actual work. That's when he began to be able to actually heal and transform and transmute conditions, because he now knew that he had dominion over all things in harmony with this infinite intelligence, which knows what to think, feel, say, and do. Wow, really cool. Thank you, brother. Thank you for that, Benjamin, that super chat. Would like some direction for my business. Should I move to a new city? And should I rent or build a new structure? Any other advice is welcome. Much love. Um, I don't know who this is. I think it's your guardian angel. And she is saying you need to go a little bit slower on the first part. Moving to the new location will be beneficial for liberating yourself from all of those things that are keeping you entangled in your past. But go slower on the creation, but consider the movement. The momentum will be, she's saying the momentum will build rapidly on the move. You don't have to force anything. And something about anxiety, she said there's a level of anxiety that you have to release. She's saying you must release. There's a level of anxiety that you must release. She's saying pay it no heed. Pay it no heed. So whatever emotions or anxiety you've got connected of a negative nature to the business venture, she's saying don't pay it any attention. Turn away from it. Right? Master Jesus talks about when he says turn the other cheek. You know, if they smite you, turn the other cheek. Right? That's a metaphorical process, meaning that if you get an idea that's negative or disturbing or emotional upset, if you got that going on, don't turn away. Turn yourself away from that. Don't give it any attention. Do not give negative thought and emotion energy or attention. The minute you give it something attention, you're feeding it energy, right? Which is, again, and that choice, I thank you, Metatron saying, and that choice to turn away from that which would make you suffer is the beginning of your awakening. For once you understand that the form is not that which you are, but that which is to be guided by you, that your thought is not that which you are, but that which is to be guided by you, then you move yourself into the position of creating without any need of hurry, but you can create and align yourself to love's expression and extension of being. Thank you. So we are, what makes your mind go is so important. Most people don't understand that. And this is part of the ascension process. The ascension process is learning to get disentangled from the manipulations, the seductions of the physical world, because our senses are beautiful things. This is a beautiful mechanism. The body it's a divine instrument, and you're meant to be expressing your divinity through it to the world as a gift to the world. But most of us have the reverse process happening. The world has been imposed upon us, and we're bound by the pleasure, the sensuality of the senses, and we lose our sense to our senses. And by sense, we mean your awareness. You lose your awareness to your senses. That tastes so good. I like that chocolate. I like that caffeine. Oh, that makes me feel so good. And we get caught up in what the senses want, and we become subjective to the senses. And you have to understand that there are many things in this world now that are designed to keep you bound to your bodies. And the ascension process requires that you awaken from your body, that you use it as an instrument of the divine through which you are liberating yourself and others through the understanding of how to create the emotional energies that support and sustain the conditions that you ideally know are right for you. But you can tell from experience and from observation that many of you on this planet are suffering terribly from what you call the pleasure of your senses. You have many conditions such as obesity and addiction of many kinds, of fear and guilt and uncertainty. They're all connected to the senses of having and not having. The body wants to have, but it can't have. And there are many rules and laws that contradict each other. You can do this, but you can't do this. When you are in alignment with that which you are, when you are in alignment with that what you are, then this temple will be your servant, no longer your master. Do not let the images, the ideas of this world confine you to that body. You are far more than that body. Interesting. So yeah, And it is a process, but it doesn't have to be a long process. Learning to quiet your mind, and you'll often hear us say this, learning to quiet your mind is the fundamental first step to liberating yourself from being stuck in your body. It's the fundamental first step to being liberated from being stuck in your body. And until the mind is quiet, and there's lots in this world that is keeping your mind very, very busy right now. There's lots in this world competing to keep your mind here, keep you subjective to it, keep your body, you subjective to your body. There's lots of things in this world designed to keep you subjective to it, rather than being the divine being. You came here with a purpose, you know. All of you came here with a purpose. You all know this, but you keep trying to find that purpose in a book or out there. The purpose is within you, but you must liberate yourself from that which you know to discover that which you don't know, which is infinitely vaster than what you do know. So if you understand this process of liberating your awareness from your mind and your body, you will begin that process of ascension. The ascension is the liberation of your consciousness from a confined point of consciousness, a confined point of time and space, a limitless state of being, relatively speaking. Yes. He wants me to emphasize, relatively speaking, for infinite consciousness relative to what we perceive matter, time, and space to be. We can perceive infinite space as the cosmos, the galaxies contained by all these worlds. But infinite consciousness is way beyond that. There's dimensions and multi-dimensions. He's saying there are also places where you do not need a body to exist. You all go to that place, but most of you aren't aware when you were there because you were so busy trying to remember what you were that you forget what you are. Wow, that's a good one. So yeah, learn to stop trying to remember who you are, right? Or start being what you are, and stop trying to remember who you were, right? That's what a lot of people do. They remember how they were yesterday, and that tells them how to be today. Very fascinating. I'm going to scroll up here. Where are we here? Wow. Hello, everybody. So good to see you. What makes your mind go? Right now, for 95% of the people, the outside world is controlling what your mind is thinking and doing at any moment. Just look out on the streets. You know, just watch the people on the streets lined up at Starbucks. I mean, we got a Starbucks in front of the building. People, they're massive lineups, even during this isolation process. People are lined up at these places. They kept the liquor stores. They kept the marijuana places wide open. They kept the caffeine places wide open. Why were they not keeping places of health open? All the health food stores were all closed, right? It's interesting. So this world needs to be, you need to liberate yourself from this world. You need to liberate yourself from this world because there's a lot in this world designed to keep you in it. And there's nothing wrong with being in it, but you want to be in it doing what you came here to do, being what you came here to be. And he's saying this is the purpose. The purpose is you came here to be that which you are here, not to get entrapped or ensnared into a limited conception of yourself. He says, be that as it may, none of you will remain trapped. None of you will remain trapped in this world. You will all eventually be liberated. But the question is, will you be aware that you are liberated? Will you be aware that you are liberated? Yes, thank you. He's saying, remember the story of the elephant and the rope. First, they tie this big chain on an elephant, and the elephant can't break the chain, so it stays put. And after a few months, they take the chain off, and all they do is put this dinky little rope on the elephant, and the elephant, in its mind, believes that it's still chained, and even though it's got the strength to snap that rope like nothing, it stays put. And many of us have been conditioned to believe we are a certain way, to think we are a certain way, to think things mean a certain thing, and become entrapped in this physical world like the elephant. And so your identity, this infinite, wondrous, loving, divine being that you are, becomes trapped in this little tiny space called your mind and your body. And you want to become liberated from your mind. So you must start identifying what is making your mind go. Where are your thoughts originating from? Who gave them to you? Who's manipulating them? Who's controlling them? And then how to get free. And you get free, the first step is learning to quiet your mind. And we will repeatedly tell you there is great value in learning to sit quietly without distraction, to sit in silence, to be at peace within your own mind, to still the body, to turn your senses off and inward, back to your heartbeat, back to the energy, the electrical energy that flows in as your spirit, which comes into this body, to become aware and mindful of that. This is so important, the beginning of your liberation. And some of you who struggle with getting your minds quiet, and some of you who struggle with getting your emotions quiet, we understand, but the level of difficulty might be greater for you, but the process is identical. It may just take a little longer. There are some who can close their eyes for the very first time and take a deep breath and relax, and they feel absolutely liberated. We've seen it. We've watched it many times, where simply a person's mind is so loud and they simply take a breath and exhale and relax, and they let their body become quiet, and they begin to hear nothing for perhaps the first time in their lives, and they feel liberated. And then there are some who take days and weeks sometimes. But it is better to take a longer time on a journey where you know you're going to get to a destination that's satisfying than to not take your time on that journey at all. So we encourage you very sincerely to begin to meditate, to quiet your mind, to begin to clean your body, to begin to restore it to your knowledge of what is right and wrong. If your body is in pain, then it is in need, and the need is not being met. You must identify what the causes of your pain are in that body and remove them. And there are many things that cause pain to your bodies in this dimension. There are many things that are highly poisonous and toxic to that physical body. You know this. You all know this. The question is, are you able to overcome the addiction to the thoughts and the emotions that are connected to the body? Because the body in and of itself cannot change itself. You are its master. It will not change itself. It will not. Many of you have tried. You try to stop that processed sugar. You try to stop eating that processed food. You try these things, and then you go back to them. And it's not because there's something wrong with you. It's because your body still thinks it's in charge, and it still wants to make you do what it wants to do, because that's what you've taught it to do. That's what the world teaches to do. It tells you all the time, be this and be that, think this and think that. It's always telling you. It's always making your mind go. And you must take control, and you must make your mind go. You must make your mind go. He says, many of you think this is too difficult. Stop that. It is not as difficult as you think. It simply requires your patience and perseverance. Your body and your mind are simply, for some of you, unruly children that have been allowed to run along doing what they wish without any guidance. You must become a parent to your own mind and body, and not the parent of your parents, but the parent that you would ideally be towards your child. Become the father, mother over your body and mind. Begin to govern it with the love that you know you would extend to anybody, that you would like to receive from anybody. Cultivate that state of expression to your mind and to your body. And you'll begin to discover a liberation that will unfold, that will be very pleasing to you. When you begin to love and honor the body, even if it resists you, when you tell it, no, you cannot have that sugar, no, you cannot have that alcohol, no, you cannot have that coffee, no, you cannot sit down and meditate. Every time it tries to resist you, you say, no, we are going to do this. And you must walk through that. It's a very narrow path. It's a very narrow path. But on the other side of that path is a great exploration yet to be taken by many of you. Thank you. Good afternoon, is it? Oh, good morning and good afternoon. I wonder where everybody's from. That'd be nice to know where everybody's from. We have sound, wonderful. What is something I need to be aware of now that I'm still not aware of? Anything I need to focus on? Yourself, Beta. You have to be aware of being aware. You are so ensnared again with trying to figure things in this world out that you have forgotten that you have to figure yourself out first. If you want to become aware of what love is for you, if you want to become aware of what joy is for you, if you want to become aware of what love in expression is for you, then it is important you understand how to detach yourself from this world and stop using this world as a framework for identifying who you are. The world will only give you what it is, but you can give to it what you are, and that's what you came here to do. To give the divinity, the unlimited love potential that is you, the unlimited love potential that is you, is what you came to give to this world. And that potential may show up as many things: an invention, as service, as kindness. It may show up in many ways, but you must connect to that. Very important to connect to that which you are. Get out of this thinking thing. It's very simple to do. It really is. Just close your eyes and plug your ears and close your nose and just listen inside and let it get silent. Listen for the silence. Listen for silence in your mind. You will find it between your thoughts. You will find it in wondering what the next thought might be. You will find liberation within. You will not find liberation without. And the liberation you will find from this world will always be temporary, for this world is temporary. Cool, thank you. Wow. Good morning, Lori. Hi, Giovanna. Question: any advice on journeying in spiritual practices? Yes, I think Metatron just said that. Really, like, meditation is so important. It is meditation. This is my metaphor. Meditation is the chalice. Meditation is the divine chalice. It is the chalice that the eternal fountain of youth. It is the chalice, the cup from which Christ drank, is meditation. It restores you when you realize, when you release everything from your mind and you empty yourself of all that you know, you open yourself up to be filled with the divine. You will not be filled with the divine necessarily from this world. There are many things in this world that can nurture and feed you and guide you, but ultimately you must take the steps. You must go within. You must clear your mind of all that you know so that you can know all that you do not know. For all that you do not know is vastly greater than what you do know. And our goal here is to assist you in taking the journey. We are simply saying, here is the ride. Will you walk on it with us? Find out what the ride is like for yourself. Because we can't tell you what it'll be like for you. Great question. Thank you, guys. Yes, absolutely, Sonny. 5 hours can be enough sleep for anyone. If you understand who you are, if you understand what you are, you can get by on as little as an hour sleep. You can literally condition the body that an hour sleep can generate the same effects as an 8 hour sleep if you train the mind and body with that energy. Like learning to open your eyes and go, every time I go to the closest sleep, my body regenerates fully and completely. Every time I open my eyes, I'm refreshed, rejuvenated, re-energized. You can literally pull that energy into the body and it will react as if. Go back to what we showed you earlier this week with the lemon. If you take a lemon that's all squeezed and mushy and you lick that lemon, it's going to stimulate your glandular system from an imaginary lemon. All of you can do this right now. Imagine licking a lemon right now. Your mouth will salivate. And that process, if you understand it, that you are the awareness that can stimulate the body to states of being that it cannot stimulate itself into, then you are liberated. You have that process available to you. But you have to enact it. You have to enable it. And you have to do it consistently. You can't go back. You can't say, oh, I can do this now, but I can't do it the next day. You have to become consistent. And that's why we constantly refer to meditation as being crucial. Yes, thank you. Manoj, ask Medron, how can I learn to live peacefully with my wife, no matter how hard I try to be loving and forgiving towards her? I end up being judgmental and bitter. Well, he's laughing. He's saying, once you have no room for judgment or bitterness, you will only have room for love. But you must surrender any impulse that would support the bitterness and the judgment that you hold towards this dear one, this one that you cherish and love. If you are cherishing and love her, there would be no bitterness. There would be no anger. There would be no frustration. There would be understanding that she is obviously suffering. To behave in the ways that she behaves, she must be suffering. She must need something that she needs. You need to find out what she needs. She needs something. And bitterness and upset will not feed. That's like giving meat to a newborn baby. It will not work. You must find out what that child of your creator needs. She's with you because she believes you can provide that need, but you have not learned to do so. But that's something you can learn. Great question. I know it's a fascinating thing. Relationships, aren't they? Giovanna is asking for advice on journaling in spiritual practices. Advice, tips. Yes. It's a fascinating thing. Advice and tips on journaling. I'm not getting anything for that right now. This come back to the same thing. Meditation is your key to journaling. You want to journal your awareness into existence again. You want to journal your awareness into existence. Go on the journey, the inner journey of peace and tranquility, and ask to be inspired. Ask to be ask for it to be revealed to you, and it will be revealed to you. You want it to come from within here, not out here so much. Out here, you may find signs and symbols and signals that will reveal to you, something's on track. And we will provide those for you if you request it. We will provide those for you if you request it. But the journey must go within. You wish to journal that which you are. Go on the journey, not the journal. Go on the journey. Thank you. Hello, Laurent. I feel some large changes are coming in June. Does the team? Absolutely. There are huge changes coming this June. And when I get this massive expansion of light, that these huge changes are coming in June, right? Massive changes coming in June. They're saying it does no purpose at this time to reveal what they will be at this point. These things will be revealed shortly. There will be many who will come to speak of them before they occur. But be mindful that whenever you hear of these things, that you go within your own heart, that you go into that place where you are in communion with your source and find out directly, for you can all do this. But there are changes in this world that are inevitable, as they always are. Like the seasons, they're saying like the seasons, there are changes that are coming. Gina's asking, thank you for the $5 donation, Benjamin. I really appreciate that. If you want to support the work that we're doing, the daily show we're doing, you please do so by becoming a member of our Patreon page, patreon.com/William Michael Forbes. You can also support the work we're doing here through the Super Chats, which is a little symbol below the comment box that you can click on and offer a donation there or support there. Also, if you want to learn to channel and talk to your guides and angels, come out to our classes and courses. They're mind-blowing and life-changing. And there's nothing else like them on the planet, like the way we do it with our guides and our angels. It's pretty phenomenal. And we have a number of students here today, I think, that will certainly verify and validate what their experiences have been with the classes and courses. Patricia, hot water, honey, and tea, sea salt. Oh, okay, conversation. Question. Oh, thank you, Miriam. Really appreciate lots of love. You can never have too much love. I don't care what anybody says. You can never have too much love. You can have too little love, but you never have too much love. Look at this we got people from Colorado, Melbourne, Australia, Oregon, London, South Africa. Welcome, everybody. What a blessing. We are reaching all the continents now. We are reaching all the continents, and we are collectively doing this. This is amazing that when we start, goosebumps everywhere, right? Once you understand the range and scope of what we're doing, it becomes very exciting for all of us that we can actually alter even geological conditions on this planet. Even solar conditions can be altered by the quality of our dominant emotional energy while in this physical dimension. Remember, this body and mind, this world is not who we are. It's a manifestation of consciousness that we produce to gain experience. So important to understand this. That there are geological and geophysical changes that happen naturally, spontaneously, but they're all based in an electrical circuit, an electrical integration of different levels of energy and consciousness that all work together to form a single unified field. When we as a collective species go into certain emotional states, we alter and change that electrical potential. When we are in certain emotional states, if you're in a state of joy, your body reacts a certain way. If you're in a state of depression, your body reacts a certain way. Now, this world and much of what's in it that's man-made is really confusing, very limiting, and highly restrictive, unless you look for other things within you or in the world that are not. And the goal of the people that we work with, the beings that we work with, is to bring about the awakening that is happening right now as rapidly as possible. Because when people begin to change their emotional energy, they begin to change their electrical potential. And the goal in our 1 billion strong movement is to generate and get enough people together that we're generating a vibrational field of love that's so powerful and intense, it reorganizes matter from the dominant fear vibration. Because remember, fear and love are electrical energies, they're electrical potentials. They produce very different results in time, space, and matter. They organize matter very differently. So it's important to understand that getting ourselves into an intentional, as a collective species, unconsciously aligning ourselves to love can produce a massive change in the global electric circuit and in the solar electrical circuit. We are not separate from it. We're part of it. But you got 7 billion of us here on this planet, all having certain emotions, and the vast majority of them are living in fear right now. And this is causing a shift in not just in geology, but in solar activity as well. So it's really important to help humanity to get realigned back to a paradigm of predominantly love vibration, and watch matter, time, and space realign itself to that. And we've been seeing changes geophysically on the planet for the last almost 9 months now with the 1 billion strong movement, the practice that's engaged in. I love Metatron. Sometimes he gets into conversations with me. I don't understand what he's saying. I mean, just some of what we just said there are things that we've discussed about being able to literally reorganize and restructure matter with a certain quality of thought. Even you can even use your body to reorganize matter, which is the art of feng shui. Deals with that science, where we can actually use matter, shape, and form to restructure energy and actually reform it. With intention, we can actually alter physiological things and change the way energy flows. And we all know this too from experiences. Some spaces feel really good, some spaces feel really bad. But there's just ultimately comes back to he's saying, come back to what we are here to do today. That is important. You understand that you must become the one that makes your mind go. You must stop allowing this world to direct your mind and your attention and your focus. That is enslavement to something other than yourself. As much as it can be liberation if you connect to those beings on this physical dimension with you now that have the capacity to reveal to you the truth of yourself by pointing you in the right direction to look inwardly. Those that tell you to look inwardly, those who tell you to find peace, those who tell you to restore yourself as an awareness to that which you are, they will assist you. And there are many. And I can think of a few off the top of my head too that he's referring to. And again, a lot of Eastern mystics are waking up. I mean, Sadhguru is one of the beings, Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, Marianne Williamson did a lot of work on that. There's a lot of beings on this planet right now. A lot of ascended masters are in form right now in the process of trying to disseminate and manifest this condition of love as an expression of our consciousness. And the contrast to fear is beneficial in that you can identify that which does not serve you. Dion is asking for any advice from either of you guys. They're just saying, first you must understand that you are not alone, that you have felt our presence, but have not fully acknowledged it, which is why we find you here reaching out to us this way, and that is good. But no, even as we speak these words, if you are listening with your heart, you will feel us. You will sense our presence in you right now and around you. Just allow yourself. But know that within you, we are all within you. We're not separate from any of you. You look at the sands on a beach and all the grains therein. You call it all one beach. But there are countless individuals all joined together in that union, as we are with you. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wow. Let's see where we go here. I'm just scrolling around. I got lots of questions here. How are we doing time-wise? Wonderful. Thank you, guys. I told you that. So back to this. Okay, he keeps get back to this. Okay. What makes your mind go? That's what you want to be focusing on in the next couple of days. What is making your mind go? Where are your thoughts being stimulated from? Are your thoughts being stimulated by the world? Are your thoughts being stimulated by the television or what somebody said to you? Where are your thoughts coming from? And do those thoughts serve you? Are those thoughts serving you, or are they stealing from you? Are they liberating you? Are they imprisoning you? Begin to make a decision to be that which you are, to become the sculptor of your mind, Do not let your mind be made up by others, which it has. It has been made up by the whole world around you. And now you get to make it up. If you choose to do so, we cannot make you, nor will we try. So be mindful over the next few days. Where is your mind being made up? What is causing you to have thoughts you're having, and why? Where do they originate? Do your thoughts originate from love, or do your thoughts originate from fear? Thank you. Do your thoughts originate from love, or do they originate from fear? Ask yourself that question. Does this thought originate from fear? Does this thought originate from love? And 90% of the thoughts that are based in fear have come from the world around you. 90% of the thoughts that you have that are based in fear have been given to you. They weren't yours in the first place. Somebody gave them to you. When you were a little tiny baby, you were given lots of thoughts. And then when you were a little toddler, you were given lots of other thoughts. And when you went to school, you were given lots of other thoughts. This world has literally overwhelmed you so that you think that you are lost in it, but you are not lost. And those of you that feel lost, please understand that you are not lost, but can be found. Learn to still and quiet your mind. Learn to still and quiet your mind. And listen to the love of silence. That silence will never harm you. It will always love you, and it will always be with you. And from the place of silence, then you can begin to remember yourself. Then you can begin to become, again, that which you are in truth. This is so important. You must become that which makes your mind go, not this world. You are what must make your mind go, not this world. You are the one that must choose to make your mind go, not this world. And this was the great choice that Master Jesus made when he was faced with the knowledge and understanding of how energy and spirit worked. He knew he could use his knowledge to create an empire on this planet. And he chose not to do that. He surrendered his attachment to the acquisition of things for the sake of things. He surrendered his acquisition to things for the sake of things, and he restored himself to what he called the kingdom, which is the infinite spectrum of being without limitations. And he was able to do miracles because he understood that he was not subjective, that he was part of that person. He was the spirit. When he said, I and the Father are one, he means that I, the awareness, became one with an infinite potential, and we're able to utilize that infinite potential to manifest immediate changes in time-space. Just like your hand can be told to close and open now, you learn to manifest that instantaneous potential. You learn to do that. And Master Jesus told me it's no different, even with miracles. If you really understand, if you really know and you really believe that you are, and you know this, he says, belief is a step away from knowing. You want to get to knowing. Get to knowing, he says. You want to get to knowing, not just believing. You want to get to knowing. And you get to knowing by being that which you wish to know. And you cannot be that which you wish to know in this world. You can be that which you wish to know when you are not of this world. And that is a perspective of awareness. Thank you. So really understand that. It's so important. Oh, thank you, Robin. I really appreciate that $10 donation. I'll scroll up and see your question. There we are. Can you explain the influences of planetary placement and coronal activity in reference to our physical, emotional, and spiritual connection and the ability to balance the outside influences? As was said before, when you understand the relationship between the usage of emotion in the form of energy or energy in the form of emotion, you'll begin to understand the way electrical potentials and bodies work in time, space, and matter. The attractive elements of matter from the perspective of polarity and non-polarity is obvious in terms of relationships. You can walk down the street and you will feel a draw or an aversion to certain people. If you're aware of that process, you become very mindful of that aversion and draw. Some people you'll feel more drawn to because there is a resonance, there is a connection there. That connection and resonance may be positive or negative, harmful or destructive. Either way, as long as there's a resonance, the two will bring themselves together. Well, what I'm hearing you speak of is a process of deliberate creation and understanding that not so much why these things work the way they work, but understanding that the potential of emotion that any one of you exists in at any point of time and space is literally reorganizing the matter and conditions in your physical world and the planetary worlds around. The electrical potential of this planet will determine and influence and alter the orbital structures of other planets in this system, as the beings and consciousnesses that exist on them will do the same. Your definitions of life are very limited from this perspective of this Earth, for there are beings on many worlds. And the electrical energy that they utilize in the form of emotional expression will alter and change even the orbital structure of planetary bodies. When you look out on the universe and you see galaxies colliding, this is an emotional process. This is an emotional process directed by a collective of many, from your perspective, infinite countable beings existing in a platform of energy and causing changes in that flow with the energy, what you call emotion. Planetary realignment, galactic realignment, universal realignment, for universes are very separate and distinct depending on the nature and organization of the consciousness at each one of these different levels of consciousness. Okay, we put this into simpler terms. So basically, what's happening is whenever we feel a certain way, we're generating electrical charge. On a planetary scale, we've got 7 billion people, we're generating an electrical charge. That electrical charge influences the global electric circuit, which in turn has an interaction with the planetary, with the sun and the other planets. There's an actual connection. There's electrical connections between all physical bodies in time and space. There's an electrical relationship between all physical bodies, whether it's a grain of sand on the beach or an entire universe. Everything that exists in time space has an electrical potential. And when you change the electrical potential, you change the function of the form according to the change in the potential of that electrical flow. I'm going to give another example of that. So, okay, so you're looking at a light bulb. You got a dimmer switch on your light bulb at home, okay? When you turn that dimmer switch down, you reduce the flow of electricity to that switch, and it causes the bulb to go dull. You turn that switch up, it allows the electrical flow to increase, the amount of that energy brightens, the light gets brighter. Well, so too does human emotion do the same thing. When we get into if I start going, Yahoo, I love my life, life is amazing, it's a wonderful thing, and I start getting really excited about that right now, then there's a certain percentage of you out there that will react to that and experience that energy and begin to feel that, right? We're generating an emotional electrical charge that alters what's going on in the environment around us. And we're 7 billion people. We're emoting, all of us, on some level or another. What are we emoting? What is the most dominant energy? Because the energy of excitement and enthusiasm is very different than the energy of anger and fear, which produces a very different result in behavior. Remember, all emotion determines human behavior. You can't escape that. Every emotion you feel will determine your behavior, unless you're aware enough to say, no, I will not allow this emotional energy to express. I will not allow this vibration of anger that I picked up to become a part of my functional expression. You have a choice over that when you know that you have choice over that. So we hope that answers your question, understanding that we are part of that process that organizes all heavenly forms, and all heavenly forms influence us as well. So it's not either or, it's an and. We are all in this together. None of us are separate from it. You can't escape it. Great question, Robin. Thank you so much. Wow. One question comes through about Jeremiah. Why are you not speaking more consciously to me? Why are you not calling upon me? That's a good question. He has. Wow. Tina, question. Any guidance for me to follow today? Thank you for always being with me and loving me. To all those who guided us. It's wonderful. It is wonderful. Guidance for her. Okay. So basically what the guidance has been given to all of you to heed today. Be mindful, aware of what your mind is doing. Are you controlling your mind, or is your mind being controlled, or are you being controlled by your mind? Are you here to learn to be that which you are in this world, or are you here to remain subjective to it? It's important you understand to be mindful is to be aware, not to be caught up in the mind, to be aware of it. That is mindful, to be aware of your mind, minding your mind, observing it, making certain that it is not the world that is directing your thoughts and your actions, which it is for many. Many of you are directed by the words and the actions, the behaviors, the information coming at you from this world is causing you to buy this and do this and drink this and eat that and sleep this way of this world. And yet within you, you have all knowledge available to you. Get reconnected to that. As we said, learn to quiet your mind. Restore yourself to your house. Restore your house to you. Thank you. Yeah, really. Spend time today. Spend time as often as you can watching where did this thought come from. Somebody asked earlier today about their wife. About how my wife, I'm trying to be loving with my wife, but I keep getting into this state of it. Well, then you have not gotten to a place of love yet. And obviously she's got a need for that love that you're unable to express. And you have to discover what that is. What does the world need from you that you brought here to give it? Because you brought something that's uniquely for you to give to this world. And the only way you're going to find out what that is to get disentangled from it. To really, meditation is not just about sitting on a pillow. Sit in a chair. You can sit against a tree outside, but get your mind quiet. Get your body relaxed. Train them so that they can open up to you, who you are, so that you can begin to hear that which is beyond what you hear in your mind. Most people are so busy with what's going on in here, they never hear anything else. That's why a lot of people ask us questions. It's because you're so caught up listening to what's going on in here that you're not able to hear what's going on out here around you in consciousness and energy. We're all around you right now. And all you need to do is quiet this down and listen. Learn to hear with your inner ear, with your awareness. Learn to hear. And that is a really wonderful place to get yourself to. And it's worth the journey. It will be harder for some of you. The journey is harder for some of you, and we understand that. The journey can be harder for some of you, but it is still your journey. You just chose to go up a harder part of the mountaintop. Some people took a nice little path. You might have chosen a rocky way, and you have to use lines and rappelling. You have to climb up these steep edges. But you can do it. You chose it. But you will find the journey much easier when you get your mind quiet and your body still. Learn to put the things in your body that make it happy. Learn to put the things that make it happy. How many times have you put things in the body to overstimulate it because you're low on energy? You drink that coffee, or you take that drug because you're low on energy, or you're too excited, you're too anxious, so you take that drug to stop that feeling. And a lot of you do this. And yet that's when you need to train that child. This is your child. Your body and your mind are your child. You need to train them to be what you need them to be. And they will not train themselves. They will not change themselves. And there's no medicine or pill or drug in this world that will give you the power to do that. There's nothing in this world that will give you the power you already possess. Although you may have the illusion of that. There's something out there, money, or something out there will give you the power to be all that you can be. No, you are all that you can be. But you must realize that within first, and then bring that to this world again. That was your intention when you came into that body. So we understand. We'll take one more question. Actually, we're going to take two questions. Who are my guides, and am I calling on the right ones for help? There's a collective, Mike, that works with you, and I don't know who they are. They're new to me. They're brand new to me. I don't know where they are, but they're from. Wow, I don't even have a description for them, but they're like white dots of light, like a collection of white dots of light. And they're saying it's not so much of it's again. They're saying it's an issue of listening inwardly, and then watching outwardly. If you wish to know that we have heard you, then you can ask for something very specific. You can ask for us to show you something very specific. It may be something very simple, such as a feather, such as somebody saying hello to you that's never said hello to you before. a sequence of number, a chance encounter that lifts your heart. But if you wish for us to work with you, you must work with us as well. And it is hard for you to hear if you are not listening. Okay. They want me to be clear when they're saying it's hard for you to hear because um, you're not listening. They mean you're listening to too much of what you think you're supposed to be listening to, rather than just being open and hearing within. They'll connect with you. They're saying they're saying you'll feel their energy like this, like like um like something around, like a headband around your head. That's how you know when you're sensing their presence. It'll be like a headband around your head. So you want to get connected to that, and then ask them to give you specific signs in this world that your brain can interpret. And you go, yes, because they want you to understand it's not the outer world. They use the outer world as ways of getting us mindful of them on the inside. They want us to all go inside where we can all hear them. We are connected to all beings at all points of time and space when we know how to be within, when we know how to be in that place. The kingdom of God. My Father's house has many mansions, right? Is what Master Jesus says. My Father's house has many mansions. And then it does. And those are many different levels of awareness and consciousness and degrees of perception and knowledge and wisdom and experience and time and space and non-time and space. Different universes, dimensions. There's realms of being that are way beyond what we currently understand from the finite perspective of our bodies. So yes. So there you go, Mike. And Janine. Hang on. Somebody's saying, will I please answer Gina's question? Let's see. Yes. I think Gina's question has been answered. Again, when you have relieved yourself, when you've relieved your mind of all anger, all fear, all guilt, all shame, when you are able to stand in a vibration of love and see others. One of the things I loved about A Course in Miracles is one statement from it. Every single human interaction consists of one of two things. Every single human interaction is either a call for love or an extension of love. Every human interaction is either a call for love or an extension of love. It's very powerful. So ask yourself, if you are in a state of love and you're really in a state of love and someone's yelling at you, are they giving you love or are they calling for love? Because anybody who's in a negative state of energy, they're calling for love. They're calling for an extension of love. And then it becomes your opportunity to identify what that call is and how to answer it. And the only way you can answer it is through understanding and knowing what love is. And the only way you can know what love is to get disconnected from the conditions you've been taught to think is real. You got to discover that love is what you are. And when you discover what love is, what you are, and you're able to be that, you will always know what love is. When you are love, you will always know what the moment requires from the perspective of love. But you've got to get there first by getting out of everything that's not love. And you do that by going within inside and quieting your mind and stilling yourself to this present moment and really being in the present. So somebody's screaming, they're obviously in pain. Somebody screaming is obviously in pain. If they're angry, they must be in pain or they wouldn't be screaming, right? What's hurting them, right? And if you get angry at them because they're angry at you, well, then you're just feeding their pain and they're feeding your pain, and now you're feeding each other's pain, and you're both calling for love. And if both of you are calling for love, nobody's listening, nobody's giving. Everybody wants to get, but very few people want to stand strong in the face of that current of rage some people will put at you. And to stand there in love and understand that rage is because there's a place that they're in deep pain. It has nothing to do with you. They're in pain. Be present with them and then find out what they need, what they really need. Don't assume you know what a person needs. Thank you, Lysandra, for that $10 donation. I really, really appreciate it. 10:45. Well, I 10:45. Let's see. I don't know if I can see the times on these things. Gina, if you could ask the question again, I'll take it. Gina, I can't scroll back up. It's just too much information for me to scan through from my 3D eyes at the moment. Oh, you're very welcome, Mike. Yvette. Oh, you're very welcome. Yes. Yes, yes. So again, we'll be back tomorrow. So yesterday we talked about how to deal with intense, overwhelming emotions. Today is what makes your mind go. And hopefully you're going to see that there's a correlation between what's making your mind go, the stuff in this world that's making your mind go, and your intense emotions. Because remember, your past has memories that have events that your brain thinks are still, your brain and body will react to as if they're still real. So but everything in this world that your mind reacts to, past or present, and you start to notice what's generating those intense negative emotions. It might be a thought somebody called you, "Oh, you're so ugly," when you're a little girl, and you got really upset, and that hurt your feelings so badly, and you're still carrying that upset. So anytime somebody talks about beauty or ugly, your system's responding as if that original event had happened, and you want to you want to get detached from all that and return to love. And again, tomorrow will be another wondrous day. I'm curious to see what they put forward then. But I want to thank everybody for coming live. I want to thank everybody for your donations. Again, if you want to support this work, you can go to my Patreon account, become a Patreon. We offer our Patrons unique events. They get to ask a question that's personal for themselves once a month. We have a free reading giveaway. You get a free reading. One lucky Patreon gets to win a free reading with me at the end of each month. And we do a live Patreon event, a Patreon's only question and answer event on the 7th day, the 7 o'clock every single month. And again, you can support us becoming a patron. You can also support us here and showing up and share this video. Please give these videos a thumbs up, like, and subscribe to the channel. Get this information out. Humanity is going through a massive change, and we can either participate in it or not. I prefer to be a proactive being on this planet. That's what I came here to do. And in truth, all of us did. We just have to remember that. So I want to say much love to everybody, and I will see all of you. Let me see. Hang on. There's just something I've never seen before on this. Yes, don't forget to like this video. I know, but you know what? It's not about being popular. It's about getting you connected to you. Remember, love is what you are, everybody, and learn to meditate. Like really begin to discover what meditation is, how to quiet your mind. You can't hear anything new if you're listening to everything that's going on in your mind, because your mind is all based in the past. Much love to everybody. Have a wonderful, joyful day. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Much love. Bye for now.